Welcome. In front of me I have the AMAZFIT Active 3 Premium, and I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the watch itself and just go over what it has to offer. Okay, so let's just get straight into this once I adjust the camera, which I probably should have done it before, but oh well. Anyway, we do have a little pull tab right here at the back, so yoink that. Wow, look at that. Samsung, you can learn something from just a cheap cardboard packaging. How are you supposed to do these pull tabs? They're supposed to come off in one piece. Anyway, once we whip that out, there's nothing else in the box, so this comes out in one nice big chunk. And in here we get the watch with pretty interesting design, at least visually meaning. And then we get some manual right here and their charging puck. Additionally, as we open that up, we have our strap. There we go. So taking that out, here's the strap. A little bit stretchy. Let's just get that out of here. There we go. And I actually have no idea which side is the top. You know, I'm just gonna hold all 4 buttons. Why the hell not? One of them is bound to turn it on, right? Right? Ah, there we go. Interesting, so the lugs right here are actually movable. It's pretty interesting. They don't move at the same kind of the same rate. You can see there is a little bit of a, it can be pushed up a little bit, but it is locked, so the lug or at least the little spring load here shouldn't be falling out, hopefully. Anyway, let's put this on. We do have quick releases right here, obviously. There we go. So that's one, and come on. Okay, I'm kind of struggling with getting my fingernail. There we go. Okay, and here it is on. The strap itself is actually decent length. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough of this to kind of measure it. Look at that, I do. So the strap is about 120 millimeters in length, at least the longer side, and the other one is about 85. So that's it. Actually, let's take a look at the dimensions as well. So the watch is 45 millimeters in diameter, with a what is that, 13? Yep, 13 millimeter thickness. And lug to lug, we're looking at 51 millimeter lug to lug. Okay. So this is not necessarily the smallest watch. Obviously, it's a 45 millimeter, so it is on a chunkier side. And in that chunkiness, we actually get, let me just find the actual info. Oh boy, where the hell is it? There we go. So we get an AMOLED display of a size of 1.32 inches with a resolution of 466 by 466 with a brightness of about 3000 nits. It also boasts 353 pixels per inch with a, props for that, sapphire glass. Nice. So the fact that it has sapphire glass makes this actually a freaking tank. I only had a single watch with sapphire glass, which was the Samsung Galaxy Watch 6, the last kind of circular one before they went like the squircle size, the squircle shape. And that thing rubbed against things like concrete walls, doors, and stuff like that with the display. That thing is perfectly pristine to this day after like wearing it for about a year. It's honestly surprising how durable sapphire glass actually is. Now the frame on that watch, my own personal, the Samsung one, has been damaged as it wasn't as durable as the actual sapphire glass. And now, oops, what did I press? So that's a little bit of a shame that usually, the build, the body of the watch won't be as durable. And here it looks like it's actually made out of plastic. And this, I don't think this is metal either. Let me quickly check. That actually mentions it here. Color, no. Material. Okay, no, so it is stainless steel. Okay, so let's move on to other things. The bottom seems to not be actually stainless steel like the product page actually suggests. So I think literally what they're considering frame is this tiny little ring around the display. Everything else looks to be straight up plastic, which I would say it's a little bit misleading. Now, other than that, if we take a look at the, for instance, battery, we are looking at 365 milliamp hour battery, and that will apparently get us about 12 days with a typical kind of usage. Now, obviously, this will change depending on what you're doing with the watch, how heavy you're slamming or different things. So, as an example, with always on display, you're gonna cut this by like by 2/3, so you're getting about 4 days of battery life. With the always on display, you get 24 hours with GPS tracking. And let's see, what's the other one? If you're playing music and using GPS, wow, you're cutting that by additional like 12 hours or 14 hours, so you get only 10 hours of battery life with just GPS and the music. So you can clearly see there are some kind of drawbacks right here. The battery life, if you're just kind of using this casually, are okay. Like 12 days is pretty respectable battery life, I would say. But 10 hours with just doing kind of like GPS and music, considering it looks like GPS is already chunking battery quite heavily. Music also seems to be cutting that battery life by like half from just GPS, which it's a little bit underwhelming considering music. I wouldn't consider it to take this much energy, but whatever. Anyway, if we continue on and kind of talk about the feature set of this device, so we have things like heart rate, blood oxygenation, stress, skin temperature, sleep tracking, heart rate variability, breathing quality, and sleep scores. So these are just some things that, in terms of health and sensors. We also have 170 plus sport modes, including running, cycling, swimming. Now, this is going to be, I believe, for the most part, a watch designed for running, if I'm correct about this one. And with that in mind, there is a lot of things that AMAZFIT is marketing strictly towards running and kind of progressing it and trying to find what would work best for you with their Zepp coach and whatever they have for that specific purpose. So I have the supported guide training plans from Zepp coach, designed to help you help user progression towards goals like first a race or milestones and so on. So this is going to be strictly, not maybe strictly, but primarily catering towards runners or people that want to start running. And other than that, and tracking everything that is associated with running, it helps you also with the fact that it comes with a GPS tracking. So because of that, you basically get offline maps, turn-by-turn navigation, automatic routing, point-to-point route planning, and search for location direction on the watch. So it will get you through most of the things that you want to achieve. If you want to, quickly run somewhere, find like the most optimal route, it's gonna do that. It's gonna also along the way coach you on how to maybe, run better. by learning how you run, for instance, through your, things like heart rates and so on, your exhaustions, how fast you're running, as it is going to track that, and try to give you later on some kind of tips on maybe how to improve it. Maybe slow down your running, because overall you can run faster, or faster in general, if you don't push yourself this hard at the beginning or something along those lines, right? So zip code should help you with that. I've never tested it out myself, so I don't know how well that works. And one more thing to mention is the tracking sensors, usually on smartwatches like this, ones, for instance, like ones that we have right here for the heart rates and stuff like that, you shouldn't take these at face value, what it presents you as basically facts. These don't usually give you the best kind of results. They're not as accurate. And I actually learned, let's say it this way, from someone else doing a extensive testing. You can check it out. Like, single mad lad decided to buy like most of the most commonly bought watches, including things like these, though not specifically this model, from all different brands, and test them side by side, each of them, with an actual equipment, like medical one, that would be designed to, for instance, measure your heart rate or some other things. And from there, he made basically a scoreboard of how accurate they are to the medical sensor. And turns out these were not one of the more accurate ones. Actually, it was, surprisingly enough, Huawei watches that were leading this kind of charge right there with most of their watches. And I think Apple was one of also the top ones. But something that was designed for literally tracking, had their own system, was not leading the charge right there, which was kind of odd, considering I would expect devices like this one to be basically at the very forefront. I mean, they're designed to track things. That's their sole goal. So it would have been nice if they were the best at it. But turns out usually they're not. Now, I can't really vouch for this one, how well it tracks, as I haven't even tested it out. It literally just came out of the box. I have no freaking clue how good it does its job. Maybe companies finally improved their tracking, and it's now on par with something like Huawei, but I have no clue. Now, in any case, one more thing that I do want to mention is the puck right here for charging. It is magnetic, as you can see, and actually pretty strong magnet. Like you can see, even at an angle, it still holds. So it is definitely gonna hold on to your watch. And when you're dropping it at it, there we go. If you drop it relatively close to where the charging is, I guess, it's gonna start charging. And one of the nice benefits about this one specifically is the fact that it comes with a USB-C. So you can take this with you, and because it is super small, right? It's smaller than the watch itself. You can most likely drop it comfortably in your pocket or in your bag or whatever. And typically you will find somewhere a free USB cable that is just, ready to be used, like this one right here. So you can easily plug it in. So all you need to do is just carry this pocket, and it can be plugged in most scenarios. I mean, someone is bound to have a Type-C. Literally everything is charged nowadays with Type-C. So it should be easy for you to find it. I'm pointing that out because companies, for instance, like Samsung, release their little magnetic little pucks for this, but they have an attached cable. Now that cable is Type-C, so you can plug it into a charger or a computer or something like that, or even to your phone, which again makes it a little bit still decent. But in terms of space saving and just clutter, one that has a detachable Type-C, I find it to be a little bit more appealing, rather than one that has an attached cable, so you have to deal with the puck and the cable now. So I do prefer this over something like Samsung has. In any case, that's about everything that I have to say about this watch. It is, I wouldn't say it feels super premium for the price. I mean, it comes at like what is it, $200, something along those lines, including tax. Where I'm from, it costs about 700 and what was it, 700? Let me quickly check on their website. 729 PLN. that is, I believe, somewhere along the lines of $200 US, including tax. So in any case, for that price, I find it just okay. The fact that it has a nice display AMOLED with a decent brightness and a sapphire glass is actually pretty damn nice. But I just find it that rest of the watch, even though it has this stainless steel ring right here, the rest of it just kind of leaves me a little bit wanting a little bit more. The plastic back right here is just looking a little bit crappy in my opinion. Other than that, with button navigation, the buttons feel solid. The lugs right here are fine. Something about them just makes me feel weird, but I don't know why. So yeah, the other thing that I want to point out, the strap right here is a little bit stretchy, doesn't have the greatest kind of feel to it. It definitely falls short from other companies that produce straps that are just like, oh, so good. I think Huawei is one of the ones that are making like some of the best feeling straps, holy shit. So this one just feels like a typical silicone one. It doesn't have too much quality, but luckily because it's using normal kind of brackets right here for this, as long as you have a, what is this? That is a 20 millimeter. Okay, so it's a standard 20 millimeter. I was actually expecting it to be like 22. So as long as you have a 20 millimeter strap of any sort, you can just swap it out. So as an example, I actually have on my wrist a normal watch. Let me just take that off. So if I wanted to, I could just do this. Boop. And come on. Oh, I missed it. Ah, there we go. And you can see, I can just attach a normal leather strap to this of any sort. So there we go. Anyway, that's about it. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.